That's why immortality does not exist in this physical body. It only exists as our soul is immortal and lives on for eternity. Although the day in Adam and Eve, and I don't know if some people are able to create spells that give them immortality, or vampires or whatever, that are able to manipulate the reality to fit that context. Like Adam and Eve lived longer, but slowly down the gene line, they started to live less and less days. But that was all a part of God's creation because He decided how long this body would be in existence for, or the lifespan on this body. The Creator didn't decide that. The Creator made our soul, which is eternal. So eventually our body does perish in most cases. But Adam and Eve they unalived themselves multiple times in the beginning when they first were kicked out of the garden, which I read in the Forgotten Books of Adam and Eve, or Forgotten Books of Eden. And the only person that was able to resurrect them was God, because He created this body. So He's able to resurrect it and put whatever lifespan He wants on it. So through His advanced consciousness and His advanced technology, He just raises it up from dirt and makes the same mold like clay, makes the same mold of Adam and Eve and puts their soul inside of it. Because the soul is eternal, so He just makes a body and puts them back into that. That's why, like, side note, that's why we see people that are doppelgangers that look completely alike, because of the fact that their soul is different. Their soul is completely different from that body that they're in. They are unique in terms of their soul, but God has certain templates of bodies, and He puts those bodies all over the world that look exactly alike. And this just made me think about everything is a script, right? Like, we talk about destiny, we talk about who created our destiny, all of these things. And I talk about the blueprint a little bit later, which I'm going to go into. But this has made me think about, okay, so there's been situations where God has created two people and their lives, their appearance, everything mimics exactly the same. No difference whatsoever. They look alike and their lives are exactly the same. I'm actually going to pause on that one and finish what I was saying about this, and then get into the blueprint and the script that we're living. Now that I'm thinking about the script, but I was talking about blueprint a little bit later. This is why people got to be wary about what they teach, because even me, for example, like, I'm telling you these things, I'm teaching you what I know, but it's just about me putting puzzle pieces together and thinking what I know. However, I'm not 100% certain anything I say is real or facts. So people have to really go through the things that they say to really feel like, or know if this is the truth or not. So back to Jesus. Jesus could have believed that He wouldn't have been tortured the way He was. However, that was not part of His destiny. But at the end of the day, He still could have had a choice of whether to fulfill that destiny or not. He could have ran away from it, gone to India when they were coming for him, changing his identity and not fulfilling the purpose that God had set out for him. I don't think that destiny was created by the Creator, but yet God created that destiny for him. So even if God told him his destiny, because He could see into the future, but however, based on creational laws of our soul, He still has free will. We all have the choice of whether we fulfill that path or not. I don't even think that the Creator makes a destiny for us either. So based on the information that I come across and what my intuition tells me, is I'm starting to feel like this is the way things operate. So with Jesus, God created this destiny for him, allowed him to see into the future, because this was a destiny that God created. That's why he was able to see into the future. Like, I don't think that God can tap into creational's future and creational's timeline and anything to do with creation on how the whole universe operates and what's going to happen next in the universe. I think he can only tap into what's happening in this dome and what will happen next, because he created this whole timeline. He created this whole script, this whole play that he wants to see come to fruition. So that's why he knows what's going to happen next in this world. So he can tell souls the destiny that he wants them to fulfill and make it seem like it's for a bigger purpose. But he cannot force them into doing it. At the end of the day, as a soul, we still have free will over whether we fulfill that destiny or not. So free will comes from creation. That's why God, when we leave this body and we enter into the afterlife, we have a choice whether we go into that light and we sign a contract again of coming back in this reincarnation loop. If we choose to say no and not get tricked into it, then we will return back to source. So we do have free will at the end of the day. That's why information, knowledge, everything is so important, so that we know what is and what is not.